Hello everyone, welcome to yet another learning video. My name is Ravi Sharma. So in our last video, we learned in detail about the Vision AI service offering from Oracle. And today our focus is going to be the document understanding AI service offering. The pattern of this video is going to be similar. We'll first go to the OCI console and try to understand what it actually does, and then see how we can leverage it to create our own custom solution. In order to save time, I'll be skipping service connection creation during the demo, as I've already covered that in the previous videos. But if you need, then let me know in the comment section, and I'll try to help you out. Right. So in addition to that, you can also find the Git repo link in the description below. You can download the demo application and customize as per your needs. Right. So let's get started. Log into my OCI Cloud tenancy, and I'm on the Document Understanding homepage. You can reach here by using the navigation menu, the services available under Analytics and AI, under AI services, right? On the homepage, you will see several useful links of documentations, and on the left-hand side, you will see all the features which are supported by this AI service. The features range from extracting text from a document. It could be the document could be in image format or PDF format and whatnot. You can also extract tabular data out of your documents. But the main focus of this video is to analyze invoices using a custom application, which we will go through in a few minutes. Basically, what we want to do is we will upload invoice, and it should fetch out few key fields from those invoices, and we want to be able to see those on our screen and then submit the invoice for whatever we want, right? For approvals or for creating those invoices inside Oracle Fusion Cloud or whatnot, right? And in addition to this service, this feature, we have document classification, where the AI service can also identify what kind of document have you uploaded, whether it's an invoice, it's a bank statement, it's a receipt, etc. Right? Now, these are the standard models which are provided out of the box. In addition to these, you can also create your own custom projects. Basically, it will create your custom models eventually, and you can customize it depending upon your specific business use case. Because what happens is that the documents across different companies across the world are in different formats. Some invoices may have detailed information about the ship to, bill to, etc. Some may not, and some may have different kind of taxes being added to the invoice, which are not so intuitive for the out-of-box model to identify, right? In those cases, you will create your own fine-tuned model and then use them in your custom application. All right. So before proceeding forward, what I have done is I have opened the DevTools of the Chrome browser, right? I'll just enable the network logging, and I'll click on key extraction. So as soon as I do that, a sample invoice is automatically being analyzed for me. So let's wait for this to get completed. And you can see in the background, several API calls are being made and all. So this is done. What you will see on the right-hand side in the results section is that these are the key value pairs, and these are the key fields which the out-of-box model has defined and was able to identify in this document, right? They may or may not fulfill your requirement. But in most cases, the out-of-box model tries to cover the most important data, and it should suffice your business use case. If not, then you can always create your own custom model, right? So now let's see what kind of a request was being sent, right? So this is the simple JSON request where you pass the compartment ID, what kind of features are requested out of the model, and how are you passing the document. So here the document is passed inline. Inline means you just upload the document and call the service rather than going to an object storage. And in the response, you will get a very big response where you will see a lot of data, like what kind of document was identified. It was an invoice, right? And then different words which were identified in the document. And if you go through the entire payload, you will find uh, a lot of things which you can work out with, right? And we will try and see how best you can use these kind of responses inside your own application, right? Now, before going there, let me just stop the network logging here and let me take you to the API which works behind the scenes. So this is the REST API and it is the analyze document, right? So if I go to the documentation and go here, you have landed on the document understanding API endpoint page, right? So it depends upon which region you have subscribed to. You can start your endpoint URL with that region, right? And then the service which we saw was the analyze document API, right? So let's try and find it out. This is the analyze document result. And this is the service, right? Actions, analyze document. Actions, analyze document, right? Now, the payload which the service fires has this structure, the compartment ID, the document object having the data and the source. And then what kind of features are we expecting? Similar details you will be able to identify here as well. You have the compartment ID, then the document, document type, etc. Few of the fields are required, few are not required. So it depends upon your use case, what you want to achieve, right? And similarly, you also see the response being generated here. And you can also see the response that comes out of this web service, right? So this is the response structure, right? So this goes into a lot of details, a lot of attributes. It really boils down to what exactly are you looking for in the response, right? So once we start analyzing our custom application, I'll show you how exactly you can best use this, right? So let me go back here and I'll quickly jump to the top. So you can see the most important details which are identified are the who is the vendor, what is the invoice ID, what was the date, your bill to ship to addresses, your subtotal before taxes, your tax, your total amount after the tax, right? Addition of the tax, right? And you also have the line items listed here. So let's jump onto our application. This is the VBCS application. It's quite a simple application where we have an upload button where we are going to upload some invoices. On the left hand side, you will be able to see the invoice which we upload. On the right hand side, you will see the results of the document AI service call. Now, in this application, instead of simply calling the analyze document service like the OCI does, what we are doing is we are uploading the invoice to an object storage location and using a web service call that is called the processor jobs, right? We are going to pick that invoice from the object storage, process it out, and the AI service is going to store the processing result back to the object storage location. We are going to read the result from there and are going to display the data on the right hand side. So if you go into the details of this web service, you will find that it needs an input location, which is essentially your object storage location where the invoice is going to get uploaded, and the output location where the AI service is supposed to keep the result back after the processing, right? So I have also started the dev tools to record the network logs. So these are a couple of invoices which we have downloaded from the internet. So it is uploading the invoice. Now it is called the processor job service, which is analyzing the invoice. And once this gets finished, it's getting the result from the object storage location, right? So as you can see on the left hand side, the invoice is being presented and it has at the top, it has the vendor name, which was picked. The invoice ID is on the right hand side. there is a subtotal of the total of the amounts, and then there's a tax amount which is also displayed here. Now, the usual format of invoices is that the total of the invoice is displayed at the bottom, but here it is in between, but still it was able to figure out the invoice total, right? It also picked up the invoice date. It also figured out that on the top is the vendor address and below it is the billing address, right? So it beautifully captures the details. And I'm displaying only handful of fields here, right? So in this invoice, you do not have any tax ID, vendor tax ID, so that is blank. In the bottom, you can see all the three items being listed here with their respective quantities and the amounts, right? This unit field is essentially what is the unit of measurement of the items like pieces, kilograms, liters, etc. So this is not the unit price, right? Since the unit is not displayed here, it is left blank, right? Let me upload another invoice. So here the total is at the bottom, but essentially all the other fields are similar to the last invoice. So it is able to again figure out all the essential components or the attributes or the fields of the invoice, right? Now let me upload a different looking invoice, which is um, quite complex in terms of where the data is placed. There are several tables inside tables, but still the AI service does a fairly decent job of capturing the data. If you see, the invoice number is actually below the header, right? And then the date is in a format which is different from a standard way of depicting the date, right? In just numbers, right? It has alphabets as well, but it was able to very accurately identify the invoice date. Now here, the GST TIN is also mentioned, so it accurately captures the vendor tax ID, right? And if you look carefully, this invoice also has the unit of measurement for the items, right? So it is intelligent enough to, you know, identify data or even when there are encapsulated, or rather I should say table inside tables, right? And if you see here, there are many fields which highlight total amount. There is a total, then a discount is applied, then there is a taxable value, and there is a total at the end as well. So it was able to figure out that the total at the end of the table is the invoice total, right? And there is a subtotal as well, 71,000. And then there is a total tax which is displayed here. Now you would wonder that why not 3408? It could be because the field I'm capturing is only the first field. And it could also be because the AI service was not able to figure out that there are multiple text entries here. If that is the case, then you can always create your own custom model, train that model, and fine tune it according to your requirement. So whenever you are working for a client, they will have invoices in specific formats. So gather the requirements, fine tune your models, and using that model, you can do the analysis, right? And once you are happy with the data, if you want to make any tweaks, you can, change the data. And then on the submit invoice, you can either raise approval request, you can submit the data to Oracle and whatnot, right? So let's see what is happening behind the scene. So first, it is trying to upload the image, right, to the object storage location, and then it calls the processor job, right? So if you see here, this is the API which is being called the endpoint, right? It sends the payload with specific details about what should be the input location, meaning where the invoice should be uploaded. So this is the bucket namespace and the object name, which is basically the file name which I uploaded. This is where I wish to upload my invoice, and the source type obviously should be object storage locations. And I'm also specifying the same location where the AI service should store the response in the JSON format, right? In your use case, you can have a different location, right? Now, once you do that, The response basically just it's a job, right? So it's not specifying the exact response which the API should return. Instead, what API or the AI service does is it processes the invoice in its own memory, and then once the response is ready, it uploads the response to the object storage, right? So we are reading that response from the object storage location, output location, which we just saw. And if you look, it's a very, very big response, right? What I'm doing here and how I'm capturing very specific details is what I'm going to show you now. Um, so in this single page application, we have only one action component, which is this button, right? So this is the file picker, and there's an action chain here. I'm just opening a dialog first, and then changing the text there. So first I'm uploading the invoice, right? Then I'm uploading the file to the object location, object storage location. I'm passing the data here, right? And once that is done, I'm just displaying that it's analyzing the invoice. When I display that, I'm eventually calling the document understanding service. Now, this is how you're constructing your request payload, which I just showed you, right? Your input location, your output location, and your features that you want to extract, right? And finally, I'm doing a get file from the object location, object storage location, right? Now, the magic happens after you get the response. That is where your most amount of coding effort is going to go into, where you are parsing the data, right? So if I go into code mode, what I'm doing here is that from the object result, uh, the body will have a defined structure, right? Once you understand the structure, it's easy for you to parse that, right? So you will have body, pages. I'm reading the first element, and then the document fields. So let me just quickly take you to the response here and find document fields, right? So at the top, you have pages, right? And the document structure is way below, right? And here, what I'm trying to do is in the document fields, you will see the name of the field, which is here, the vendor name, right? So it is inside your field label dot name, but the actual value is inside field value dot value, right? So if I go back here, what I'm doing is I'm collecting all the field value dot value and storing against the key by field label dot name, right? And this is the object which is being created. So for all the field label names, I'm mapping their respective values and creating a key value pair here. And then I'm assigning this to a variable called invoice details var, which I eventually use to display the data on the UI. So if you go to this variable, you will see that these are the attributes which I'm trying to capture. You can have more attributes, and you can always do the mapping accordingly, right? Now, in order to get the line items, you need to understand how they appear in the response. So if I go here, you will have something called line item group. This is the group of all the line items which are present in the response, right? And they are identified by something called line item field. So inside a line item group, I am iterating over all the line item fields. And again, the similar concept is used where I am collecting for each field, line item field, I'm collecting the information in a key value pair, field label dot name, and field value dot value, right? Once I have this for each field, I'm pushing the data inside my ADP, right? And that is the ADP which eventually displays the data inside the table, right? So this is how you can plan to create your action chain. Although it is everything in one action chain, you can modularize your application as per your requirement. And I would like to give credit to one of the VBCS blogs. I believe it was from Brian. where he did the demonstration of how to upload the invoice to object storage and get the result. And I have just extended that forward in order to display the data also on the UI, right? So I hope this session was useful. If you have any questions, do let me know in the comment section. And if you want me to create videos on any particular topic on the AI services, do let me know. Thank you so much for your time.